There are some conversations that don't feel real while they're happening. You sit there listening, waiting for the punchline that never comes. But instead of a joke, you get a life-changing sentence spoken in the most ordinary tone imaginable. That's how it started for me. Dinner, a quiet evening, nothing unusual. And then my husband told me he wanted to father another woman's child. Not in theory, not in the future, but actively. With someone I had never even met. We had been married for 6 years, and until that moment, I genuinely thought we understood each other. We weren't perfect, but we were stable, or so I believed. That evening, he mentioned it casually, almost like it was a passing thought he had just remembered. A friend of his, a woman from his past, wanted to have a child. She had decided she didn't want to wait for a relationship anymore, and she had asked him to be the father. At first, I didn't even react strongly. It sounded absurd, but not necessarily threatening. I asked him what exactly he meant by that, and that's when the conversation shifted. Because he wasn't confused. He wasn't hesitant. He was interested. He explained it calmly. She didn't want a stranger. She wanted someone she trusted, someone she knew, someone she had history with, someone like him. And then came the detail that changed everything. She didn't just want a sperm donor. She wanted him involved, present, active, a father in every sense of the word. I remember staring at him, trying to understand how he was saying this so casually, like we were discussing travel plans or financial decisions. Not a child. Not a shared life with another woman. A child. With someone else, I asked him one question. Just one. What about us? He didn't answer immediately. Not because he didn't hear me, but because he was choosing his words carefully. Then he said something I'll never forget. He said I was being insecure, that I didn't trust him, that it wasn't about us. It was just something he wanted for his future, something he might not get with me. That sentence landed differently, because suddenly it wasn't just about another woman. It was about replacement, about possibility, about a future I apparently wasn't guaranteed to be part of. I tried to explain how it felt, that this wasn't a hobby. It wasn't a decision about work or travel or money. It was a child, a bond that doesn't stay neatly in one compartment of life. But he dismissed it, said I was overthinking, said I was turning something simple into something emotional. And for the first time in years, I didn't recognize his logic. There was another detail I couldn't ignore. They weren't strangers. They had history. They had dated before. And suddenly, everything about this arrangement felt different. Not theoretical, not distant. Real, too real. Because how do you separate old intimacy from new responsibility? When a child is involved, I asked him if he understood how that would look from my side, from the outside, from inside our marriage. He told me again that I was exaggerating, that nothing inappropriate would happen, that I just needed to trust him. But trust doesn't erase discomfort, and discomfort doesn't disappear just because someone tells you it should. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something about the way he spoke felt too rehearsed, too certain, like the decision had already been made somewhere I wasn't part of. 2 days later, I started noticing things, small inconsistencies. The way he became protective of his phone, the way he stepped outside to take calls, the way conversations stopped the moment I entered a room. At first, I told myself I was imagining it, that I was reacting too strongly, but then I saw it. A second phone, hidden, silent. And when I finally looked, I found messages that didn't belong to our life. Plans, names, a connection labeled simply as home. But it wasn't ours. And that was the moment everything changed. Because suddenly, this wasn't about a theoretical child anymore. It was about a second life already in motion. I didn't confront him immediately. I waited. I needed to be sure. And when I finally spoke, everything collapsed in a single conversation. He admitted it. Not everything at first, but enough. Enough to understand that the story I had been told wasn't the full one. There had been lies, half-truths, and a second relationship that had grown quietly alongside ours. When I think back now, I don't remember shouting. I don't remember dramatic words. I just remember silence, heavy final silence, and the realization that love doesn't always end loudly. Sometimes it just stops making sense. Seconds. And when I walked out of that room, I didn't just leave a conversation. I left a version of my life I would never be able to return to. I don't know what hurt more, the lie itself, or how easily it had lived inside my home. And even now, I still find myself wondering how many stories like this exist, quietly unfolding behind closed doors. If you were in my place, would you have walked away sooner or tried to understand why it happened? Do you think I overreacted? Or was I right to feel this way? I don't think there's a right answer, only the one you can live with. If you want more stories like this, I'll continue sharing them here.